play now. Put me in the game now. I came here to prove it, I'm ready to do it, I can't be afraid now. Put me on the stage now, I'm ready to rage now. I feel like an animal stuck in a cage and I'm ready to break out. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. This time, like the last time, you better get ready to race to the top.
1st and 10 for the Renegades. Kenneth Stewart's had a pretty good season so far, but this is going to be his toughest test, and we're going to see what this Renegades offense can do against a very hungry U defense.
I am not sold on Kenneth Stewart, and I will be the first to tell you that.
A 6 foot, 190 pounder, AKA the young bull, like Shane Gillis. The snap. Not a lot of time. Here comes some pressure thrown across. Caught. Cutting up the sideline. And they might be starting. Ooh, the Renegades. They finally found him. Tackled by number 10 of the U.
And that's a great play by Kenneth Stewart. That's what he does naturally. And if you watch Kenneth Stewart, he is the most accurate passer, rolling to his right, throwing on the run. It's when he's stuck in the pocket or has to go to his left where sometimes he struggles. But here's A7FL. A great receiver in his own right, still celebrating Ramadan. Today's the last day of Ramadan. This evening, as soon as sun goes down, he's going to be feasting. But right now, he's lined up against the U, looking to get some food for his own palate.
The U has to figure out why they can't get maximum pressure against teams with mid to mediocre offensive line.
Rolls to his right again. This is where Kenneth Stewart feels most comfortable, gets 8 yards.
And with 4 guys on the line, gentlemen, in that play, 2 wide receivers, empty backfield for the quarterback, and 4 on the line. Renegades playing what many would consider a traditional offense, not a traditional A7FL offense.
Well, what you've seen this season, 2022, in the A7FL is that the standard bearers for the league right now, BIC, with a quarterback that is an elusive runner, have shown that we're going to line up and threaten you with the pass because our quarterback is just as good as a running back option.
Right. With no running back option, he has the check downs. And I think everybody's starting to, I've seen the league shift play styles several times because I've been here that long, unfortunately. But it's starting to seem like...
Where's your grace? I'm looking at your hair right now.
I ended up with him. It'll be 2nd and 2. The handoff.
That's not the answer.
Oh, and stopped and stifled. It'll be
That's definitely not the answer.
3rd and 4.
And that's Craig Pitts with the takedown. Basically what they've been struggling with all year.
Snap. Stewart in trouble, but will find the first down and more. The U looking more human by the play, spinning out of it, pulling a huff and down the block by Dondre Haynes. Megatron trying to end the life out there.
That's what I mean. That happens to the U too often.
But let's give credit to the Renegades because what you see there is a quarterback who is mobile, takes advantage of the open lanes that the defensive pressure gives him because they over-pursue. He makes the right decision quickly and with enough time to get the first down, move the ball downfield, and you'll see right here, Craig Pitts was really stuck on wrestling because he goes for a full frontal shot to Kenneth Stewart's face.
1st and 10, Stewart snaps. Oh, gets it out of the double clutch, caught in motion, picked up by number 11, D'Angelo Brown.
Stewart is so good that he's slicing and dicing the U up, or the U is not making mistakes. We got to be honest here. Stewart's not that good. The U is making mistakes.
That was a quarterback stepping up in a rushed pocket, standing in the face of pressure, and delivering a very good ball. This is good coverage. Let's give credit where credit is due.
That's one.
That's right on the money.
That's one.
And the defender on the play, Kyle Ward, if that's a pass that's behind the receiver, Qua, that's a tip ball and that's an incompletion. So on this first drive, Kenneth Stewart is very comfortable getting to his right side, rolling out, and either taking off with the ball downfield or dumping it to one of wide receivers wide open.
Haynes and Baptiste are eligible receivers, but the handoff, and that's to Quadu Garrett.
Yeah, that's going to be a decent play for the Renegades offense as they keep them honest, but that's what the U can do, is you try to beat them with speed to the outside. It's probably their slowest player on defense, Isaac, who's had a great year at the defensive end position, and you can't even flank their slowest defensive position player. The jet sweep is not going to be your go-to today.
This sideline to sideline is crazy. The U's not here for that. But again, I just don't feel like there's teams The only team I feel like that beat the U is BIC. And then everybody else, I feel like the U is
Well,
beating themselves.
well, to be clear, the rare breed pretty much took care of business last week.
Yeah, let's
Against
not.
16 players on the U. No receivers besides Smoke. I mean,
Was Huff there?
Huff was there.
Was Moon there?
Huff and Moon are not the only
Was
guys.
Pat Coburn there?
He was those were the only ones.
You had enough to win and they lost.
Rolling out
That's
to
a
his
good
right,
team.
throws to the check down, keeps it moving, but will get out of play.
Oh,
In
they're
their
giving me
opinion-
games
in
right
their
now. The
opinion-
Renegades
Well,
are making
the
it look.
Renegades are about to score a gimme touchdown,
That was a
but
terrible
on
play
fourth
call.
down, not a good, not one of their better ideas, and it will be, I believe, a turnover here. The snap.
Play action. Rolls
Rolls
to his
out
right.
on first down. Has the lane, doesn't take it, caught, touchdown!
There's Aaron Hank Baptiste, former Warrior. He's caught a touchdown pass from me back in his day.
Aaron Baptiste
Shut up,
was a
Corey.
Warrior.
You've caught a touchdown from me, Rob.
On my birthday.
I'm the
in
only
fact.
one. I think I'm
gave
the only
you a
person
birthday
who's
present.
ever done commentary for the A7FL
that hasn't caught a touchdown
or played it down.
Up sledding
It
for
was
BIC
definitely
back in those days.
Listen, it was tough. That was a tough one.
Going for one here after the penalty slips through, brought down.
And if the Renegades want to win this game, they want to have a better opportunity on those extra points. Sometimes you just got to take what you can get, and on a play like that, that extra point opportunity is going to be huge if this ends up being a tight game. I wouldn't say that Kyle Ward coming in at wide receiver is going to be a huge upgrade
Kyle
over
Ward-
guys like Pat Coburn.
No,
what
not
I
even
would
a
say
huge
is that
upgrade, but with him,
if
Ashanti by himself is a threat, but with Kassan, Sisson, all these guys next to him, he's even more dangerous.
I'm
Here's
surprised,
Ward
Rob.
trying to be dangerous here. Cuts to the outside, cutting up the sideline. Gets through Haynes, gets through two defenders,
He hit
and
one
brought
huss.
down
Just a mini
a
huss.
huss.
I am
many
surprised, Rob, as an offensive lineman, knowing as important as that aspect of football is at every level, at every version of football, whether it's 7-on-7, whether it's flag, whether it's 11-11 college, whether it's the NFL.
No.
First, it's 2nd and 10. Play action. Moon on his bicycle being chased down by Megatron and run out of the gates.
Now, remember, I
That's
said
Megatron.
number 33, Jerron Haynes, was a safety in college. He is not in college anymore.
No,
so
he
that,
is very much not.
and you
again,
can see
so where did he
Moon
go?
finds some space, gets the first down, 1st and 10 for Patterson.
The heavier they get closer to the line. So right now, I'm pretty sure he's playing linebacker.
I'm
right?
relatively heavy, that's why I'm under center.
Exactly.
I'm 6 foot even.
You're 6
Moon.
foot even.
One receiver in motion, the handoff, cutting up field, and this Renegades defense.
This is the Renegades that lost last week.
Darryl Luck.
You can watch that Buzz tape, and what you'll see from the Buzz is pretty good. Not elite, but pretty good offensive line play and very on-time quarterback wide receiver play, because Mark
putting
Diggs
that on the
earned a
track.
lot of respect around this league. We had guys after Mark Diggs' performance against the Renegades who were 3-0 facing the DC Buzz, a team that the Hawks beat.
Because right
By
now
the
it's
way.
going to look like the Renegades aren't good out of
But
state.
look at Malik coming off. No one's blocking him. That's Trey Baskervilles. No one's blocking him. That's Dondre Haynes. No one's blocking him. And if you don't block defensive linemen, Rob,
Well-
how is your offense going to function?
And the snap on the hurry-up offense. This one thrown downfield, caught in the hip pocket, slides. Anthony DeMars
Who's that?
getting his first pass, his first catch. Welcome to the A7FL.
That's the wide receiver that was at times playing quarterback for Savage last year.
That's
And since
D-Mar.
Savage, we the best, D-Mar is not on the Savage anymore. Do you pick him up and add him late to the season? And what you see is that when a quarterback has the ability to slip away from the Renegades' defensive pressure, they rush a little bit slower and allow for a deep pass, which I love Johnny English, one of my guys, and I threw an interception to him, maybe just because I love him so much when I played against the Renegades hand in
He's
hand.
very tall.
But
you made good throws. He's very tall and deceptive.
we won't talk too much about me because that will make me cry. A 7 o'clock game against the U and anybody has not meant more in years. guys.
Yes.
Right. It's been a long time since it felt like this.
If the Renegade win, the U are on the outside looking in of the top 2 seeds in the area, and that's caught by number
Joel
19.
Rivera.
And what you see is that the extra points, guys, are going to be so big as this young East Orange Renegades team is still trying to find their identity on offense.
Because there's no question if the U is going to score. It's if you can score.
All I got to say is that I see a lot of returns in this league, and my man Quan, who last year was by the same U team, was made into a Facebook meme, if I'm getting it correctly, as a 36-year-old almost. As we see, 1st and 10 for Kenneth Stewart, my wide receiver. I'm going to take credit for anything he does in this league.
He has to make me a believer, man. I'm still not a believer.
You guys just love me so much. You're just still a little bit upset.
In trouble.
I'm not a believer. I'm not.
But it's not fair with no blocking
Now
to say that anything different.
Line that he just had. He scored on a drive before this with the
Shout out
same
to
blockers.
Booby Miles.
Marcel Bates, man.
Tap outs for sale, wearing a different jersey because he's constantly hiding from Ryan DePaul, who has banned him from this league. And it's funny, but it's the absolute truth that he's wearing a Stevenson jersey, covering his face with a ski mask you would rob a Quickie Mart with.
If they wore white, he'd probably have on a Fabian jersey. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I still to this day want to know where my Corey Hammond Savage jersey is that Marcel Chapman was wearing, throwing interceptions, sullying my beautiful name.
I think that was like one of my first games here.
And I was very petty about it. I did not let it go.
I believe it.
Rondo,
Second
Ron
and
Brown,
9.
a great player in his own right, going in motion.
The handoff, and Brown in trouble. What can Brown do for you? Cutting up the
Why
sideline.
did Surf just get destroyed on the end like that?
Chew, guys.
Sending 5 are the Renegades, and the D-Train.
Nostradamus strikes again. 1-on-1?
Let's be honest though, it's not a stretch to see D-Train in the game, because when you see him in the game, they usually hand the ball off to him or they use him in play action. And Moon, if anything, at the quarterback position, which isn't his forte, guys. If anything, anything at the quarterback position, the best skill he has as a quarterback is his understanding of the game, and he does call good offensive plays for the U.
But you are aware that Moon played quarterback for the U before they were the U.
But if you have a healthy Huff and you have a healthy
Huff
U,
wasn't around.
who is your quarterback?
No, Huff wasn't around.
No,
I know
he's
that.
asking the hypothetical.
And I'm
if
saying
you had,
that if you have the opportunity to use Moon in his more natural position at wide receiver and Huff at quarterback, what are you going with? As Sadiq Pitts gets the sweep to the left side, and
Gets
Trey
only about a
Baskerville,
yard, but-
Mr. Do Everything, is making sure that you know his name.
on the
That
snap,
was my only incompletion of the day.
in motion.
You're going to live with that.
Quarterback keeper, and here it comes, Moon downfield. Haynes blocks himself.
There you go, quick hus. Look at Haynes on the floor. Had his legs in the air. You can't have that.
He's a
And he
large
didn't make
human being.
and he did not make contact with Moon.
No.
But the three of us know that Moon went out of bounds because that is an enormous human
There's
being.
no reason, but Moon makes those kinds of plays. Like, Moon's not going to get hit for nothing. It's a wasted play, wasted hit.
20, and in terms of balance, the Renegades a little better in terms of balance, but the U getting those passing yards, having that slight edge there, 65 to 50, but the Renegades finding a way to start the run. And it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out if the U are able to get into a rhythm. And the handoff pushing up field will not get the first down. It'll be 2nd and 8. Well, I want your answers after the play. The quick screen to Joel Rivera. Rivera will be brought down at the 29, the 31
Matt,
yard.
the talent level in New Jersey and Baltimore specifically is very, very, very high. The guy who just caught the pass is a former New York Jet. We're not talking about, Joe Schmo that works for UPS that all of a sudden switched to Amazon because Amazon's the only company that does any deliveries anymore. We're talking about a former New York Jet, Moon, a 4-year starter at William Paterson. We're talking about a 12-year opportunity as we see the jet sweep.
We'll get no gain on the play, and that will be 3rd down.
Just right now to see if getting rid of me was a great decision or potentially a bad decision.
Double reverse, and that brought down. That's number 3 taken down.
They go with a misdirection. They go with a jet option, and then they try to hand it off to the running back. But Air Jamaica has been a vet in this league. He does whatever they ask him to do, whether it's catch the ball, whether it's block, whether it's make a defensive play, and he constantly is covering his face and showing his gut, which is very questionable to me. They got there faster.
2nd and 10.
Play action.
In trouble.
Rolls out.
In trouble. Here's the the opportunity to break the game open. Can't do it, but we'll get some yards on the third
I
down.
don't agree that Baltimore got there faster. Baltimore was playing when we didn't know anything about them. They were watching us and copying us before we knew anything about them. And when they finally came here, because they said it themselves, they said, oh, let's be honest, we could beat them. We could, till they got on that field and realized that those 4 quarters that they watched are different from the 4 quarters that they played.
And to put it into context, that's maybe 2013, 2014.
Right, yeah.
That's 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And then they won in 2018.
Right.
So
how
it
many
took
years is
them
that?
maybe like 6-7 years to figure it out.
Right.
And in 2018, to be fair, Baltimore dominated the league, had 2 teams in the
that's
championship.
a year New Jersey kicked back because we were beating up on people
Kicked back,
so much.
or they got
New
beat.
Jersey was calm.
All
wasn't
right.
even-
But to be fair, 2019, who won?
PA Immortals.
PA Immortals. But that's when New Jersey was on the comeback. But
Right.
Immortals never stopped. They've been coming back. Immortals is an amalgamation of 7 teams that finally got together.
No time. Has to get through. Get away. Can't get away.
Try to give a quick. You seen the head shake? But yeah.
Kenneth Stewart is the kind of athlete that he can do way better than me, but he is not a Moon. He's not an Ashanti Worthy. No. Let's be fair. He's not
on the tackle.
He's not the extremely elusive player that's going to make every mistake by your offensive line go away.
When you glad. Yeah,
I would love to see the worshipers, like we talk about BIC,
A7FL
Daryl Luck with the, and Jerron.
Someone in the chat.
Haynes with the tackle there. Daryl
Corey
Luck.
about to drop a diss record.
Alexa, play the E
Yo.
for beat. No, all jokes aside, I think Florida's next. We're gonna see a Florida
But
team
let's be
emerge
honest,
in the next
based on the
2-3 seasons.
statistics, guys, you would assume that Florida and California got the ballers,
Here's
but
the
Vegas is putting up all the numbers in the West Coast,
the Force
guys.
are doing really good. Let's take a look at this replay here. Driving right through the neighborhood, but having to be stopped in
Why
his
did
tracks.
Train
Rob,
hit the
you
ground
could
like that?
Rob, you could speak to this. The U shows up to football games and expects to be the tougher, better team.
For sure.
This year they are not, so they have to pull something deep within them to beat teams, especially when you see Predator coming non-blocked against teams like the
At the
Renegades.
49, that one caught by number 1. That is Prince Reem.
I do say when Texas opens up, I mean, New Jersey had a nice run. Baltimore had a nice run. We can call it.
We saw earlier today, guys.
call
We
it.
saw a BIC player come out in a morning
a
cap,
bonnet.
right?
Yeah.
A bonnet.
If Texas opens up, I need to see boots and cowboy hats.
Please don't
You
do that.
can't play football in cowboy boots.
If you are a white lineman, you can absolutely
Please
wear
don't.
both.
Don't do that.
Someone's
Rob,
asking about.
if I put a cowboy hat on you and boots, you could still block
Bro, I couldn't
90%
block
of the
a
defensive.
soul.
That's because you gave up.
Asian Persuasion in the chat saying Texas have the best football players, period.
I don't know.
Well, show us. A7FL.com/players.
Moon
Let's
throws
go.
to the check down. We'll get to the 50, and look at that, the human highlight with the big play, and it'll be second down and a big gain of about 7.
Like amazing plays and have like a
Snap.
super shake as we have 1st and 10. Moon playing quarterback,
Slip
looking to make
slides.
it magical out there.
Green Moon on a Sunday night off the water. Hitting him like the Love
And
Boat.
if you heard what I was
Touchdown,
saying, if you
you.
heard the noises I was making, that was Disney, because that was magical. And when Moon's running back and forth, you see DeMar, former Savage quarterback
His
at
second
times.
touchdown of the day.
Second touchdown of the day, and the Paterson U are taking control as M. Dot, of course.
DeMar used to be known as
Is-
Spider-Man, and he wore a full face mask before the face mask was popular. He wore a full face mask to hide his appearance, and used to terrorize people in Savage as a receiver.
I want this question answered from the chat. Who do you think would be drafted first in a hypothetical A7FL reset?
Yeah.
And no need to reset there. Kareem Moon brought down, Silky Smooth brought down
let's hear it.
by number 34 of the Renegades. So it'll be
That's the
third down.
Predator.
I'm seeing a lot
Maybe,
of Matt Riddick.
yo,
I'm seeing
Malik-
Matt Riddick.
Malik, as we look at a close-up on him, it may be one of the most underrated players in this league. And if you we talk about drafts, and you're going to talk about drafts. If you're in the 6th round and you're just trying to take a player that's going to make a huge impact, I'm going to tell you from firsthand knowledge,
Malik
Malik
got
the
good
Predator
this year.
is...
Malik got good this year.
Nah, last year he was good. He was just not
okay.
healthy.
He was okay
Second and
last year.
12, Moon.
50 seconds left to go in the half, thrown towards the end zone. Caught Demar again. The second touchdown for the second time, and the U are on the board.
What grabbed his ankle? Why did he fall like that?
No, I'm asking, would you throw here and try to score?
Yeah,
absolutely.
especially if you have the ball at half like they do. The ball thrown, a wobbler, caught and brought out of bounds, so the clock will stop.
So it's good
Picked
to
up
see
by
that
Leonidas
the
on right
Renegades
team.
are going to try to stay aggressive with 33 seconds left. But with 3 timeouts, you let it get to 30, you're okay 14-6 against the U. Second and 4, excuse me, because he did not get 9 yards.
In trouble.
Interception
Throws this
here?
one.
Yes.
And Megatron!
Megatron!
Mother of God!
That counts as me calling a timeout.
Technically.
You called it in theory. The clock is stopped on
You
the
can have
timeout.
3 midgets covering him because anybody that's not 6'8" is a midget compared to a 6'8" person.
He's a monster.
And throw it to him. And like I did against BIC last year where he had 184 yards receiving.
My man, I love you. I love you.
I might be autistic and know.
You sound like you're talking about an ex-girlfriend. It's 16 seconds, 14-6 your score. I'm Matt Ryan.
Is
That's
it
the
not-
lovelorn Corey
is it
Hammond
not an
and
ex-girlfriend?
Rob Fabian.
Is it not an ex-girlfriend when I'm watching a team that I used to play for?
But you're making the playoffs.
I am not the starter for the Hawks, and I will still talk about that to this day.
You went 5
I
for
want you to be
5.
happy.
I'm
You're my
trash.
friend.
I want you to be happy.
I am depressed. Somebody send a psychiatrist.
Listen,
Oh,
guys.
if I-
16 seconds left.
1st and 10. I have
Kenneth,
no
you
idea
better
what
throw
the
it.
hell's
Do
going
not
on.
run.
The
Kenneth,
snap.
you better throw it.
This one's thrown deep downfield, and
That's 30 yards in front of Abe. He's not that fast.
Yo, Corey's not playing.
I am not playing.
but this. And do I get
Let me get a
tip at the
shot.
end of this?
Let me get a shot. This is hard to watch because as an East Orange former Renegade, I'm rooting for this team.
You played for the Renegades?
We couldn't tell.
It'll be 2nd and 15.
Do you want me to remind you what my record was?
The ball's placed on the 50-yard line, and God help us all. Here comes some pressure.
God cannot help you with this.
Bing, bong, ball stolen.
No way. Nah, he's down. He's down.
Oh, he's
that
down,
was
but
down.
he's clutching his neck.
Rob, we're going to talk about that's for Shot Night.
That's what Sean
That's a
Knight.
former immortal.
Yeah.
He did that against me too.
He ripped the ball out like that?
No.
Great.
I think they want to make this year a challenge, and the U will start off with the ball. And it will be brought downfield on the 3-on-1.
It gets hard to wake up in the morning and want to win more because you did it already.
And you
What
did
are
it twice in back-to-back
Right.
years.
What are you proving now?
The
You know what I'm
handoff.
saying?
Cutting
Great run.
upfield.
Great run.
Big run.
It's looking like Big U again.
They got to the 40-yard line.
You can't keep it up with the U for 4. That's what people don't understand. It's all amazing. The only way to beat the U is to outscore them.
And what's
BIC did
the
that,
strength?
right?
What's the strength of the Renegades? It's their defensive line.
Yeah, and they
And if
just
the
got
U
washed.
can block the defensive line like they did on that play where they get 7 yards on just an easy zone run to the right where D-Train's out in front blocking, if they can get 7 yards on runs like that, they're going to beat this Renegades team.
100%. I mean, they will beat this Renegades team.
Second and 3.
It's just going to look good early.
And a handoff. That's the D-Train.
Chugga. Come on now.
Come on, ride the train. Shoot you right
Again,
in.
can you stay focused and strong for 4 full quarters? And the answer to me is no. No one can keep up with these guys for 4 quarters unless your name is BIC.
You're playing the Renegades,
Snap. Cuts up field and immediately stifled.
and that's Trey Baskerville, who, like I said, is trying to make his name known regardless of the color of his car.
Come on now, the beard gang for me.
Second and 3 for the U.
Tossing, that's going to be Moon cutting towards the sideline, cutting downfield. We'll get the first down, and an all-expenses paid trip to the Renegades sideline.
You need to run the ball, establish dominance, and beat the other team up.
Cutting through. So Kareem Moon doing what he does better nearly than anybody.
This guy is my idol and has been since I've been playing.
Just when you're in the moment like that, Corey, and you know that you have to change direction, both Corys, And you have to basically completely tear down any idea of what you initially wanted to do on this replay. You see all of this pressure, all of these
let me
defenders.
just intercept this question here. I cannot do what just happened here,
Yeah.
so you're not talking to me. By the way, go ahead, Corey Price.
I would say, honestly, being a guy, more of a scrambler quarterback, I would say this is the worst case scenario for a defense because, honestly, once we're in the open field, all we're seeing is green, and then all we have to do is make one move, and then it's over.
It'll be 1st and 10. The snap and the handoff cut to the outside. Beautiful run, has an open lane, but brought down hard with the tackle. Paterson knew that one that time by Sadiq Pitts.
And on that play, you see Sadiq Pitts getting the opportunity to get some yards. Samad Jenkins making the tackle 7 or 12 yards down the field. But we talk about the last play. Very, very different circumstances between the two guys talking in this booth. I'm sacked. CP3 is probably scoring a touchdown on the play. So 1st and 10.
To go back to your question earlier, though, what does the U have to do? And this is it. Just pound the ball. You see the Renegades, they got their hands on their knees, they're getting tired. You have to pound guys.
And that's the interesting thing about it is, like Rob Fabian was saying too, you have to play this team for all 4 quarters, and the U know how to turn it on and turn it off, shift gears, and shifting gears into the end zone. Sadiq Pitts will make it a 2-score game.
And I'll put this out there: when you have to pay attention to the run as well as the pass and the quarterback. That first fake and or obviously Sadiq Pitts takes it for a 13-yard touchdown. And when you have to honor Moon as a potential run threat, the Renegades are in a tough spot there because they're going after Moon and Sadiq Pitts is just walking to the end zone. Easy touchdown.
And it will be a 1-point attempt from the 5-yard line. Spider-Man in there now at quarterback.
As Demar.
Demar now cutting through at his own 25, throws downfield, intercepted into a beautiful lucha roll.
That is the most impressive I've ever been about Qua. And I will go out of my way to try and take away from this man's skill, but that catch on an extra point opportunity from Demar is absolutely fantastic. Let's look. He makes the play, which let's be honest, CP3, I would never have made that. You would have obviously made that. And then the throw to 0 people there is the difference between me and him. I would have just taken a sack and not looked terrible.
Look at that. He might not make the play, but look at the pressure.
Yeah, tell me about it. That's Ron Brown, my guy.
Fumbles the ball around the 5-yard line, gets it, cuts, tries to make a miss on the first hesitation, can't get it to go, and will be stopped at the first level, and it'll be 1st and 10. I'm Matt Ryan, joined by Corey CP3 Price and Corey Hammond. We are live on the A7FL.
He's going to have a tough time with that. He's got 2 Corys. So seeing Mo in the backfield, number 4, their best running back, gives Kenneth the opportunity for play action, which will potentially help him against this U defense. But let's be honest, this U defense is smelling blood and is looking for the kill on these plays.
The snap and the handoff to Big Mo, trying to make something happen on 2nd down. Won't go, and we will go to 3rd down. We're live.
So it'll be 3rd and manageable, though, guys. And 3rd and 5-ish, 3rd and 6 is a lot better than 3rd and 12. And as you see Mo run off the field and Xavion Ray Law, number 3, run into the backfield, most likely to block, Kenneth Stewart is most likely going to look to roll to his right and find one of the receivers down the field. And since, as you guys well know, I pilfered Eddie Pettiot, the best Renegades receiver, and brought him to the Hawks. It's going to be up to Abe L. And if it were me, Dondre Haynes, a 6'8", 270-pound athlete at tight end that I'm looking for this conversion on 3rd and 6.
Would it be fair to say if Dondre Haynes went to a more established team like the Paterson U or the BIC, that he would be the most effective weapon in the A7FL? Because
if Dondre
you would have no answer.
I'll say this though,
cutting up field, trying to get the 1st down, and will get to inside the 35.
And that should be a 1st down, and that's what Kenneth can do. 1st and 10 for the Renegades, who are very far from what we're talking about with CP3.
This is what he needs to do.
But he finds himself swimming against sharks.
This is what he needs to do. Smart play.
Well, Corey, when you talk about making that transition from being a cornerback as your natural position, you're in the position you learned how to play the game at, and then transitioning to quarterback, does that field vision as a DB prove as an invaluable asset to you?
I would say yes, because you know as a cornerback where you have to shut down the field. You know where the quarterback wants to throw the ball. You know where you have to break down. You know timing routes and whatnot.
Yeah.
What helped me a lot, my first year playing with the Wolfpack, you know, me, K-Wag, the ice cream truck, you know, Jamie, Salsa, a few other guys, we had a more of a Renegade style offense, I would say. You know, K-Wag was our Megatron. You know, we had one of a bruiser running back with Debo, but we also had a Rondo like Jamie, a speedster, and we were just doing it from that. But I would say in this offense that he's in now, it's pretty good.
Thrown deep,
Not
intended
making
for
throws
Megatron,
like
and
that,
intercepted.
It's really tough for quarterbacks when they're learning the position to understand anticipation. Anticipation is knowing what's going to happen before it happens. And if you watch that play, Kels Gallimore, who's one of the premier corners in this league, which is very rare. CP3 can attest to this.
Yes,
when you're playing quarterback, there's very few people that can cover. And Kels can. And what he does is, unfortunately, to the 6'8" Megatron, he throws it outside of his catch radius, which means that he threw it within 20 yards of that man's arms.
So he has the mind, the talent for the game. But I would say, just like Sterry in my second year, I won a championship, and I feel like he's going to do the same.
And there's the handoff cutting up field to big man.
Oh, man.
Just laying the hammer down.
Luck.
Darryl Luck trucking fools, hitting them with that right stick, going directly downfield. And
when I ask guys personally, would you rather watch this or the NFL or college or the new league now? It's always this.
And
Look
this
at
is
Moon,
why
look what he
Kareem Moon is a highlight every time. And he might not have gotten the touchdown, but he brings us to the end of the third quarter with a big play and getting some big momentum for a Paterson U team that's starting to feel like themselves again, guys.
Feels really comfortable moving into next
Starting
week.
the fourth quarter here, and Darryl Luck to the end zone. Welcome to Paterson, touchdown U. And this is the offense we've been waiting to see from the Paterson U for the last month. And that's a silly. I'll put that one up on Instagram.
Guys, can I ask you a quick question? I'm sorry to cut you off.
Absolutely.
Do you guys think if the Paterson U brought this team to the Rare Breed last week, would have been a different game?
Paterson U brought this team to the U last week.
Yeah, it's
The Paterson U skill position players, Corey, are the same Paterson U skill position players. The difference between this week and last week is the effectiveness of the big guys up front, whether it's the offensive line or the defensive line. And the Paterson U lost last week because Young Buck called a better game than Huff. And with Moon at quarterback facing the East Orange Renegades, which the Renegades are a very, very capable defensive line. The rest of their offense, the rest of their defense is not the same.
Let's take a look at the stats heading into the fourth quarter. One turnover for the Renegades. That told the story of the third quarter so far.
Look at the rushing yards.
And yeah, it's an
What did we say
unfair
earlier
fight.
about this is what the U has to do. This is who they are.
And rushing yards, like a lot of times, guys, is the dominance of your offensive line. And the dominance of the offensive line for the U has been apparent
And
today.
here comes on the attempt. DeMar cuts inside, can't
What
throw
a
it.
tackle.
And you can see
So he
Pittman
caught
a
the
little
great
hot.
interception, and he made the great tackle.
Better be looking for
And-
Dondre.
And a bull rush coming towards that line and getting caught on the jersey and stopped and stifled.
Okay.
In the fourth quarter, when you're down by 20, your quarterback has to take control of the offense. You know this better than anybody, CP3.
I was just
You've
getting to that.
never been in this position, even as a Wolfpack player. You've always been for a team that's been pretty good. So,
Well,
so
no,
down
that's,
20.
That's actually not true.
That is actually not true.
We got blown out my first year playing against Savage, which is respectfully a top tier New Jersey team or were.
If LJ was here, he'd say we the best for Savage, but they gone, so whatever.
But I would say you're right. The only bad loss I really took was against the Paterson U in the 2020 championship.
So down 20, quarterback, it's on you. Make a play.
Now,
Kenneth, you're my guy. I'm rooting for
Watch
you.
that safety, number
Let's see
25,
what you got.
and here comes the blitz. Coming in, thrown down at reception, and gets up to around the 40 before he'll run out of space to run.
And that's the Greek Freak. He's been all over the field, lining up, ready to make a play. This is the first play he's made, and it'll be
receiver for the Hawks.
And taking a look
for the Salas tournament.
and an
Which you beat me
update
twice.
on the
First play of the game is in the fourth quarter, and my God, Troy, Mr. Incredible for those who don't know his
We have
moniker.
so many incredible players that guys don't even know about, man. It's ridiculous.
And that's the great thing about this league expanding, because some of these players may move, may go to different parts of the country, might be able to bring the game there. And the snap, off the reverse, the football ball still loose, and the Renegades will pick that up.
Now, Matt, this is what happens when you try to be too pretty.
Yeah. It's the trickeration. Like, this is something that is very Paterson you, something that they're known for doing.
I would say if Huff is in the game, then that might work.
Yeah. And it will be second down. The handoff cuts up field, stops, spins around, and will be stifled.
Yeah, it's
at
really
the 40.
tough. When you see a guy break 3 tackles and still get 0 yards, that's more of a credit to the defense. Because it takes more than one person to take down a player, and teams like the Rare Breed with guys like the Wolverine can assume a one-on-one tackler.
We've been talking about this idea of a reset if the first player you could have. In terms of defensive players, I think Ricardo Freeman outside, if I'm looking for a guy on the front line, he's the first front 4, front 5 player I'd have.
But I'll say this.
Sideline to sideline, and he will hit you.
But I'll say this, if you got a guaranteed pass rush, I'll take that as you see Craig Pitts get some pressure, and Kels Gallimore with a immediate tackle on Ron Brown. The task is a tough one facing the U after 2 losses.
When it's your first real season as a starter and you're playing against the back-to-back champions, and if it's coming off of 2 losses, 1 loss to win, it doesn't matter. You're still playing against a team that has a level of cohesiveness because of the amount of time they've played together.
The U has been the top team, championship or not, at the end of the year since I've been playing in this league. We're going to see what they're about.
Yeah.
4th and 1. The quarterback is stopped
not going to get there.
immediately in Air Jamaica, as well as Mame.
That's number 15.
Chill out, Duke.
I remember when Air Jamaica used to play running back.
We see 16 in motion, D-Train running down the field. You know, defensive line for the Renegades making the play that they should make, right?
Corey, like you said earlier about number 1, that linebacker, he's been my favorite linebacker.
Yo, Samad Jenkins is the best run-first linebacker that there is in this league. Now, there's better.
He remind me of a younger Steve Knight.
Yeah, but there's better. There's better pass. There's better pass-first linebackers in the league. Samad Jenkins is the best run-first linebacker in this league. But the tertiary guy being Mr. Everything, number 15.
2nd and 6.
As
a lot of
Moon
time.
is just taking his time, getting 15, 16, going back 13. Oh, look at the first 8. So, I can't do that, Corey.
I can do that, but I don't want to. I'm Matt Ryan.
Moon at quarterback.
I was the play-by-play announcer for
there's Samad.
Kareem Moon with the tackle. It has been it was a close and caustic game up until the start of the second half.
We're not going to let it go.
3 on the line.
I'm a liar.
They had the 2-minute warning and then reset. Cutting up field, Kareem Moon. Kareem Moon!
Silky!
Why are you so talented? It bothers me that you're that talented. 1:50 left to go, and he gets it to the 25-yard line. You have.
Honestly, the point is they have not suffered enough to realize difference.
I think
in
a loss in the
team.
playoffs is going to hurt. And there's a caught, and it's caught by number 19.
Jump man.
Everybody says jump man, and we kind of let that go.
He's got hops.
Joel Rivera is a professional football player that has been paid to play football in his life. He is better than almost every single player in this league.
Professional.
And when he makes a mistake, he is better than you, Matt Ryan, you, CP3, and me, Corey Hammond. And the fact is that you have guys like that in abundance. So when they are
and
not
here's an interesting
absolutely
question.
dominating the place,
76, the guy that played arena professionally.
yes, sir. Lineman, by the way. This is Matt. This is two quarterbacks talking about you about lineman play because it's the most important aspect of football.
It's the heartbeat of this league because it makes or breaks you because those 2 to 4 guys on a line with 33 seconds left to play are the ones that can set the entire pace of an offense and destroy a defensive rhythm. Thrown over and incomplete. But my question to you guys.
And by the way, was that Moon?
No, that
was that Huff?
That was Moon.
That was not Moon.
No, that wasn't.
Was that Huff?
Nope.
That was not Huff. That was a guy with extreme athleticism that makes me look like an idiot, right? But does not have the understanding that a guy next to me like CP3 has, and he makes the mistake of taking advantage of just running around and throwing it.
And not setting
because
himself.
The quarterback position is a lot harder to play in this league. Ask all of the fans.
I love the guys in the chat, man. I'm telling you,
I want to hear from them.
I can
because,
I'll read
do this, guy.
But I have an important question I want to ask you both.
Yeah.
If the A7FL hit the reset button in 2022, do you think that 2023, would that create a bigger system of parity, or would it create more chaos? And speaking of chaos, in trouble here, the quarterback number 1 in a lot of trouble. That is Kareem Williams. That's Prince Reem throwing across his body and getting it into easy Wingate.
From Moon, I see.
Now, that's the Paterson U being the Paterson U. Yes. That's the Renegades being the Renegades. But to answer your question, Matt, do you want to line up at quarterback week after week? I'll show you my body with all of the bruises, with all of the black and blue marks as a backup. And I will show you CP3, who has won a championship in this league, and now is playing defensive end, to show you all the black and blue, that this league is not for, and I love you fans. You guys are my favorite.
It's not for everybody.
It's not enough for everybody.
Sign up and do more than just speak about how you are better than all these guys, because if you show up on the field against these guys, there's a difference
but to my question, and we're going to go to the 2-point conversion, our final play of the evening, throwing across his body, and it's caught by the big man. The D-Train getting the points. But do you think if there was a reset to establish parity in the league, would that be a benefit for the league?
I think it would be a benefit for the league, because what you would have to do as a league, if you said you wanted parity, you would have to admit that time in the pocket and blocking is the most important aspect of football.
Exactly.
And at every level of football, at every level, whether it's college football, professional football, or A7FL, if you don't block for your ball carriers, you're going to lose. And the A7FL has proven once again in a full week of competition that the Hawks blocked better, and they beat the Animals. The BIC blocked better, and they beat Snow Tribe. And the U, which had a lot to prove today against a very talented Renegades team, they blocked better, and they won the game. So we could talk about all of the playmakers on wide receiver, running back, quarterback, CP3.
I mean, to even answer your question, look at the NFL draft that just passed. What normally goes number 1 and number 2? Offensive tackle or defensive end?
Line. Yep.
And if you can block and you can sack, you're going to win in football. Period.
And on that note, a lot of sacks, a lot of tackles from this Paterson U defense here, ending their schneid, getting their first win in almost a month, putting them back into play in the top 3 of the northern region. We're going to be back next week, special Saturday edition, pre-Mother's Day edition of the A7FL. Our games begin on Stadium Live at 1 p.m.
I better not play
Eastern.
BSC.
But
I'm looking at my guy Corey Price, and if I play against BIC,
you might be in a little bit of trouble. But we'll find out the schedule at A7FL.com. For Corey Price, for Corey Hammond, for Big Rob Fabian, for Ryan DePaul, and David and Alex Soberman, I'm Matt Ryan saying so long from Asbury Park. We'll see you in 6 days' time right here in the Garden State.
Yeah. I'm ready to play now. Put me in the game now. I came here to prove it. I'm ready to do it. I can't be afraid now. Put me on the stage now. I'm ready to rage now. I feel like an animal stuck in a cage and I'm ready to break out. My time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop. This time, like the last time, you better get ready